Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to be here. And thank you for all of you for the conversation we just had and participating in this process that's unfolded over the course of the last many, many years. Let me just go back a few years. We launched a number of initiatives that we're trying to braid together here today. A number of initiatives that really focused on reconciling the distinctions between our various regions in the state, establishing a framework to actually map the regions in this state, to force as a function of engagement and collaboration, of data sharing, of information sharing, of trust building. That process took shape in more formal respect in 2021 with the establishment of a $250 million grant through what we refer to as the K through 16 Collaborative. What was unique and distinctive about that grant, and I appreciate Kevin highlighting that today, is that every region in this state, 13 distinctive regions, received the exact same amount of money, $18 million. LA, $18 million. North State, $18 million. Didn't matter what part of the state you were in, there was a framework that we are all in this together and that we're all better off and we're all better off. That it wasn't just around population, it wasn't just around political influence. It was a recognition that we had to reconcile the relationship between one another all across California. That effort has been taking shape in a formal way. The work that you've done up here in the North State is a benchmark for the rest of the state. I don't say that lightly. I've had the privilege of being in a number of these conversations. That was one of the more insightful conversations that we've had, and Stuart, our Labor Secretary, made that point that not only is he from this region, he said he's never been more proud of being from this region, because when we launched that, we didn't know how that application would work in terms of the implementation of this effort, and it's a point of obvious pride to Stuart, but also me, of the successful work that you've advanced on that effort. What was important about that effort, it wasn't just one-off. It was a framework, again, recognizing a need to focus, yes, on college, but also we needed to focus on career. And so we created a framework that we utilized from the K through 16 Collaborative to map a similar map that was adopted for a Jobs First initiative. And we provided, under the similar framework, $5 million for each of the 13 regions throughout the state of California to develop an economic and workforce, more on that in a second, development strategy. $5 million, not for, as was stated earlier, another plan, but a framework to practically apply and implement a lot of the ideals represented within our diverse regions around the state. Just a few weeks ago, we received the first Jobs First plan from Fresno, inspired by the Fresno Drive initiative that helped us launch this construct a few years back. We went down to Kern County in Bakersfield with Mayor Go and received the second plan. I was down at the border at Otay Mesa, and we were talking about the work being done down there in San Diego in Imperial County, and I'm honored to be up here with all of you receiving the North State plan more formally. For all of those that participated in this, again, gratitude, respect, and appreciation. But I also want you to appreciate that it wasn't just the $5 million planning grant to develop this framework and strategy. It was a $14 million subsequent grant that went equally to all 13 regions that will allow you to take ideas from this plan, and ready-to-go projects can start to get funded. So North State has $14 million to move forward, to make visible, to make real this framework. Again, nothing like this that we're aware of in the country exists. This level of detailed economic and workforce development, bottom up, not top down, funded in real time, with the practical application taking shape at the same time that we rev up the programs and strategies. What also makes this special is that in January, because if you think we good enough it's not. Good enough never is. We're going to be putting additional. It's already been funded. Thank you to the Assembly member and his outstanding work and his colleagues. We put up $120 million of competitive grants that are available quite literally in a few weeks, January 1st. And those grants, again, are to move forward with early stage projects as part of this plan. And so we're really excited about these 13 regional plans. We'll be rolling them up in January into one statewide economic and workforce development vision. The framework, again, is the state vision is realized locally. I say this often, and I'll say it again. Localism is determinative. This is not a patronizing plan where we're selling down a vision for the state. Quite the contrary. This is a vision that is informed by leaders all throughout the state of California. Hundreds and hundreds of hours went into these plans. Tens of thousands of people have participated in the development of these plans over the course of the last year. And these plans each represent areas of strengths in each region and areas of weaknesses and opportunities to address the gaps. So that was number two. We came out with a collaborative K through 16, economic and workforce development, a jobs first framework that knits more strategically opportunities as it relates to addressing gaps in terms of economic growth and performance in this state. But there was a state of mind that was missing as it relates to those that don't have the desire, need, or capacity to imagine a 4-year college degree or even a 2-year associate's degree. As Stuart was saying, those that simply want to have a vibrant and outstanding career. And so we wanted to reconcile that. And that's why today we're putting out our career master plan. Along the lines of the 1960 Master Plan for Higher Education, this frames out a pathway for career education. We've been working for over a year on this effort. This effort, by the way, includes a council that has been formed about a year and a half or so ago. They've been meeting in every part of the state, including up here. They had 8 regional summits, hundreds and hundreds of participants informed by best practices across the country, many of them emanating from places like this, including from graduates like you, as it relates to opportunities that persist and exist outside of a college-going mindset. And so we're really excited about this. And as Stuart said, this is around recognizing that we needed to create a framework where you can get the benefit of a life well lived that, again, doesn't include some fancy, degree. And what we're doing in that respect is we're also providing opportunities to develop a skill set mindset in partnership with our community college system. And this is, again, I want to knit back because it's about blending and braiding and knitting together these larger subject matters. We are engaging specifically our community college system, and our chancellor has been just next level in terms of her support as pathways for career developments, as our principal collaborative partner, by providing the opportunity as a specific example for military members and their families, for service members that had, as an example, basic training, not to come back to a community college and have to take courses that they're well familiar with and basic requirements for their education that they've already received in the military. So they get credit for prior learning. And the framework of the career education framework is around credit for prior learning, not just for military vets, which specifically are called out. And now we'll be running statewide, system-wide, in every community college, that credit for prior learning. But we're also doing it for service learning. And this is exciting as well. California has more volunteers, Josh Friday's behind me, who started this. We have more service volunteers than the Peace Corps in the state of California, significantly larger, in fact. We have nation-leading programs like College Corps, You provide 450 hours of community service, we'll provide $10,000 grants. We were up here, President Perez was just talking about, and Chico State, one of the biggest beneficiaries of that plan. But we also believe service should also be included in the context of credit. And that is also being expanded. That's another construct that we'll be promoting and will be advancing as part of this larger effort. Again, thank you to the Chancellor for her championing that proposal as well. So all of these things coming together. And by the way, I'd be remiss, and if you're not confused, you're not paying attention. There's a lot of announcements here. But one of the things I just haven't seen, I see a lot of headlines about stuff, not things that I think matter. Let me give you something that matters. The community college were able to get a grant, a waiver from the U.S. Department of Education. In that waiver, up to 4 million Californians today are eligible without a high school degree, meaning high school diploma. You dropped out of high school, you can still get opportunities to get financial aid at community college because of that waiver. That's also part of a career plan. You know, this is, again, something I just think is like, why are people talking about this as opposed to majoring in the minors? This is a big deal, and people need to know about it. A lot of folks just feel like I dropped out and I don't matter, no one cares. Quite the contrary. But these community colleges, places like this, that's the ladder, that's the opportunity, and we want to provide financial support for those to take advantage of it. Again, even without getting through high school. So all of these things coming together. Final point. We're also going to make this seamless. You thought all that was, again, a little bit confusing. But we got Mary Ann here and others. She started something years ago. It was stubborn to get started. Some previous, there was a lot of opposition to a cradle-to-career database system. And you go, you roll your eyes about a database, but this matters. And to have a seamless platform that is universal across the system and that is embraced by the private sector, by industry. And that's why right behind these fancy folks here, you'll see this career passport, where we are going to have basically a platform for people, these e-transcripts that are transferable, that take all your life experiences, take all of those skills that you've developed, and create a passport where those skills can be utilized in the private sector and advance your opportunities as it relates to your career and your future. So this is something we've been talking about for years, and guess what? We got a $100 million proposal in Prop 98 to finish the job this year. So I'll be asking my good chair of education, Mr. Assembly Member, our newest Assembly Member, to consider supporting that effort, building on your previous efforts around the work we're doing on Cradle to Career, and then advance this seamless verification, e-transcript rather, for career opportunities moving forward. So again, I'm enthusiastic. I love all this stuff. I came from the private sector. I started a small business right out of college, put pen to paper. I had one part-time employee, Pat Kelly. Tragically, she just passed away a few weeks ago, and I was with her family, and we were talking about the origin story, where I just came out of college and came up with a crazy idea to open a little business, and how she inspired me to do that, and how we grew that to dozens of businesses all across the state. I don't say that to impress anybody, but to impress upon you a passion for entrepreneurialism, a passion for free enterprise, a passion for opportunity, and the critical nature of having a workforce that can constantly get reskilled and feels included. And that does not conclude my comments, because I'll just end by reminding you of something. California, years ago, got rid of a degree requirement for over 30,000 jobs for state government. And I say that because we're one of the biggest employers in the country. As an employer, for years and years, you don't have to have a fancy degree. to get tens of thousands of jobs in the state of California. We've been working, I don't know, before Doge was Doge. I don't know this is just like a promo project. We've been doing civil service reform in this state. We've been consolidating job classifications. We've been updating job descriptions in this state, and we waived those requirements. And in fact, I think it was in August, earlier August, we came up with your shop. We're going to double that next year. In fact, by 32,000, it'll be 62,000 positions. We will have eliminated those barriers and that requirement. So California's been a leader in that space, and we want to continue to lead in that space. I just want to make the point, everybody is included in this agenda. And I don't want people to feel like they're not. And I think that's more important than anything else I've expressed is really what I'm trying to emphasize here today. We talk about California for all, from the Redwood Coast to the border. And that's why I'm very proud of all of you, and I'm very grateful for your leadership and stewardship. Doctor, thank you for having us here. And all of you, thank you as well for being out here today. Thank you.